Okay, today I want to talk about quitting my corporate job, why I did it, what I've learned from it, who I think it's for, and whether it's the right thing for you, if it's even applicable to you. Quitting your job and going on like a career break or whatever you want to call it, it's a really weird topic, okay? Because a lot of people have strong opinions on it. A lot of people don't understand it. They get defensive about it. People call it different things. Some people call it sabbatical. Some people call it micro retirements. So it's kind of like this complicated topic. And I've quit my job a few times now to do my own thing. So I'm finally at a place where I'm comfortable talking about it and sharing what I think it could mean for you and your life. But there's just a lot of baggage when it comes to the term. The very first time I ever quit my job, I was like 23 and I was working at my first like real big boy office job. I can't even call it big boy. I was a very little boy in a very little office. It was an ad agency that paid like jack shit, like 35K a year. And it was just not a good place to work. It was not a good introduction into the working world. In fact, they kind of like stole a whole paycheck from me because I was really young and didn't know any better. So already it was a bad experience. And that was sort of the first moment to inspire me, or I guess push me to try to do my own thing. And that's when I tried to build my first startup and do my own thing. Did that for a couple of years. That didn't work. Ended up going back to a corporate job. I thought that can't just be it. I can't just be stuck in this job I don't like forever. That was just not in line with my values and my skills and what I feel like I should be doing with my life. So I quit that again. This one I actually quit. I wasn't laid off. And I did that a total of 3 times, with this most recent time being the longest I've been off, if you want to call it that, and probably the one where I've learned the most. I understand that not everyone's in a position to just take a career break. This is only something for people that are at a certain point in their career, usually like a corporate job, something where they had the chance to save some money and actually do it. Like when I was working at a bar, like minimum wage retail jobs, there's no such thing as a career break. No guy working at a coffee shop is like, I'm going on a career break. They're just thinking about like, how do I pay my cell phone bill next month? So I understand if that's you, I get it. This probably isn't applicable to you, but if you're like at a point where you think you're in a career job, but something feels off, something feels wrong, and you want to try something else, then maybe this is more applicable. But yeah, you can't really walk away from a job where you're just like getting by. And I get that. And that's sort of one of the things that trips people up when they hear this term is they think it's something like only rich people do or people with family money. But honestly, you don't need a ton of money to do this. You just have to save some money, which is what I did. So I think our whole life, like starting with school all the way through like young adulthood, we are taught to be compliant. Like most of existence for regular people is that sort of traditional 9 to 5 factory schedule lifestyle where we are taught, we're trained to do one specific thing. You got to work for someone else. You got to do that thing. You get your like 2 weeks of vacation a year. And that's sort of our life. And that's fine. Like a lot of people go online, they kind of shit on that existence. But I think a lot of people like that kind of life because they want a level of certainty and they get it. But not everyone does. And that's sort of my point is a career break can honestly, I think, nudge our life in a different direction that ultimately is the direction we're meant to be going in. And that involves like a big setback. But the alternative is like staying in a thing that's kind of on rails, that's either going to go into oblivion in the form of like burnout, stress, depression, anxiety, or it just goes nowhere in a job that either has no future or it's going to be automated by AI. So when I left my most recent job, it was half driven by this gut feeling that this isn't what I'm meant to be doing, but also I would see the writing on the wall like this job's not going to be around for much longer. And if I don't immerse myself in a new thing and learn new skills and do other stuff, like I'm toast. Like I'm just gonna get taken out back and hit over the head with a shovel. And you could say a lot of things about it, that it's not right, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's just what's happening. And I got to a point where I didn't want to stress or worry about it anymore. I actually wanted to do other stuff. Like I wanted to learn new skills. I wanted to learn about media, filming, editing, get better at this, like speaking on camera, connecting with people. Because what I was doing was just going to be done by a robot. By the way, I was a senior UX designer, so I was working on like apps at a big corporation. And yeah, they're going to have just a robot do that gig because they think that's what's best. And because, I don't own the company, I have no say in the matter. Quitting and trying to do your own thing is a big risk because you basically remove all that certainty overnight. But thing is, if you don't remove that certainty for yourself early on, I think someone else is going to remove that for us. And that's what we're seeing with like people being scared about AI. So anyway, as we're like trained to be like these compliant, agreeable laborers, what ends up happening is we like build a career that's against our interests. We like build skills that are only applicable to our specific job. Or a lot of people get better at more playing the corporate game at work rather than like doing tangible things and creating something of value. Like most people, especially as they climb the ladder, the corporate ladder, they get better at being politicians than they do at being technical or creative. And that just didn't feel right for me. The most common thing I hear online is people are like, don't do any kind of sabbatical or career break. Just do your thing in the evenings, on the weekends. And that's doable. I've started a lot of things doing it that way. That's obviously step one. Like step one isn't texting your boss and being like, hey, I'm done. Step one might be figuring out like, what do I even want to do with my life beyond this? Like step one is having the thought. And then maybe step like 3, 4, 5 is taking some kind of action. So I think it took a lot of months and years of being frustrated and feeling like I just don't fit in to the corporate world. I don't fit into that structure. I don't fit in with the people. I don't get good energy from that kind of world. Like I found a lot of big corporations, people are just very passive aggressive. Like people want to step on others to get ahead. People just want to get a promotion, or people just want to feel some power over others. And as someone that's just been more creative, it was not the kind of energy I wanted to spend literally my working years around. It just felt off to me. Almost everyone in corporate that is serious about it, that drinks the Kool-Aid, they feel off. They feel like a weird character in like a Black Mirror episode where they're not quite there. They're kind of used to the system. They know what to say and how to say it. And like over the years, I just realized that going to bed and not wanting to wake up the next day is not a great way to live my life. It's not ideal. Not saying being on the verge of like, oh, I'm just going to like yeet myself out the window, but also going to bed and being like, if I simply vanish overnight and I don't have to go into 7 hours of bullshit meetings tomorrow, that wouldn't be such a bad thing. Back to what people say online is, we'll just do this stuff in the evenings and weekends. The thing with that is working a demanding corporate job leaves us so diminished and like just broken down that yes, technically like the calendar hours exist at night, but most people come home and they just can't do anything else. And I'm a believer in the energy we have in our hours is more important than the hours themselves. Like if you told me I have 2 hours to do something while tired or 1 hour to do it while energized and inspired, I can get more done in the 1 hour than in the 2 technical hours where I'm like just defeated already. And that's what corporate was. I would just get off, hours and hours of daily meetings with passive aggressive people, but with a lot of urgency and anxiety. And then I'd get off and I would just like crack a beer and order sushi. Like that's all I had the energy to do. And looking back, the idea that I would then after that in the evening, like turn on the camera and start talking to you and start being positive and learn how to edit and leave my house and go film for the night. That was all theoretical. And I knew like, oh, I could do that, but it just never happened because I was just so broken down from these jobs. And I think what people don't think about when they hear career break or sabbaticals or whatever is you can now immerse yourself fully into the thing you want to try and actually make a quantum leap in those 6 months to a year that you would have never made trying to do it on weekends in a job that you hate. Like people that are kind of hard asses and they don't really do anything creative and they don't understand energy, they're just like, what's the big deal? Like, I do chores and errands on the weekend. Like, why can't you just do your thing on the weekend? And for certain things you can, but other things that require presence and energy, it's kind of unrealistic. So I am trying to be realistic by saying like, it does kind of drain your soul's battery. It's like asking an iPhone at 2% battery to do this big demanding task to like play a 4K video. Yeah, there's technically something left in there, but it's going to overheat and it's going to die. And that's what happens to people when they're in those situations. All we kind of have control of is trying to save. That's an investment in ourselves. Like, it's strange if you propose to a professional, like, hey, go to a postgraduate program or do this certification to change your career, improve your earnings, whatever that is. They'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's an investment in me. But like, taking a few months off or a year off to invest in yourself, either in the form of like health, job skills, creative skills, travel, just like world perspective, people don't see that as investing in yourself for some reason. I don't know why. Like, dudes will drop, 40 grand on a boot camp, but to do some like self-learning that could maybe change their life, they're like, well, what's going to be what's the gig that I get with that? This is where career break is, I guess, complicated to people because there's no like clear outline or syllabus. It's kind of on us to figure out what to do with that time, how to bring ourselves out of like whatever hole we're in, how to grow and learn new things. Maybe for some people that's like pure mental health. Like they're just so fucked up. They've not been taking care of themselves for years. And they've just been getting grumpier and grumpier each day. Nobody wants to be around them. And they don't like to be around their friends or family. And like taking that time off to get recentered is valuable. This is becoming like a fucking self-help thing, which is not what I wanted it to be. Another problem people have with career breaks is I guess they know they have to like give up some of their savings. There's no way around it unless you're one of the kids from Succession and you're going to like inherit a media empire or some family business. Yeah, it's going to cost some money. And the way people see it, which is how I saw it initially, it's like, oh, it's this giant step backward. And I'm going to be worse off because now I've spent some money. I had some of these savings and now I spent some of them to not be depressed all the time. I think people don't think about they can actually make a big quantum leap forward if they take care of themselves, if they figure their own thing out and learn something new and transition to something else. Because I think being chronically depressed while saving for a fictional point in the future isn't that healthy for everyone. For some people it is. Some people know like, hey, I just want the house. I'm going to save and I'm going to get the house and then I'll be happy. Maybe. But other people are like, I'm not happy now, but I'm going to save and maybe buy this stuff or buy this house and then like I'll be happy at that point. Then I'll want to go into the office because now I have a house to pay for. I don't think that always plays out the way people think it does. Like a fictional point in the future where you're not guaranteed to be happy, but also there's no guarantee there's even anything left. Like nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what the market's going to be, when the next pandemic is coming, when the next war is coming. Is AI going to destroy everything? Nobody knows. And when people like bold-faced look at me and tell me what's going to happen in 20 to 30 years and why I should start doing this and now. And it's like, they don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. People that try to tell you they do are trying to lie to you, or they're just unconsciously bullshitting everyone. They don't even realize they're bullshitting. So I think that's the healthiest way to look at it, is there's no fictional happiness point. There's just now and like the next few months maybe, and whatever runway you happen to have based on your savings and your financial situation. The answer you'll get from a lot of like adults or parents or whoever is like, oh, you got to immediately buy a house. You got to invest all of it. It's like the moment I get a little bit of financial runway, like a little bit of financial breathing room immediately everyone's like, you got to take all that money and just dump it into something right away. And I guess most people don't look at money as freedom. I look at money as like the ability to buy my own time back in order to grow the thing I actually want to do. Because if I save all this money and it immediately just gets like dumped into a house as a down payment, well, now I have no money. And now I have to stay in the thing that's destroying my health. And if I don't, then I just lose it all. I was looking at it like this makes zero sense. Money is freedom, and we can use that money to like put the wheels in motion on certain things in our life to get ahead. Like that's how a lot of people started businesses, and then they invested in themselves and their own business, and they grew that business, and it made 10 times, 1,000 times what their initial investment was. Like it's been done before, but if you're a regular person, the advice that you get is like, don't do it. Saving, like investing yourself, doing your own thing. That's for like another fictional person. That's not for you. Like that's what I was told when I would try to do my own thing. Like that's for someone else. You don't do that. Like you go to work like a good little boy and you work for someone else your whole life. And when they're done with you, they'll just tell you, I'm done with you now. Like you go now. You're kind of like a stray dog that nobody wants in their yard. They go, you're free now. They let you go. They let you out into the woods. And then if you have to find a new gig, it takes months and months, and you're basically back at the interview panel being like, please, like provide for me financially. And these jobs that you're interviewing for are like, oh, I don't know about you. And that's basically our life. And that to me just felt off. But most people have normalized it. And this isn't even coming from like a judgmental place or a place of telling those people not to do it. I'm completely fine with what anyone does. I just knew it felt off for me. And so most people just get pressured to just keep working and keep saving until just something happens to them. They just go along with something. Someone wants them to do something. They go, okay. And then maybe they meet someone, they have a partner, and their partner wants to do something that they don't really want to do, but they go, okay, I guess this is what we're supposed to do now. And they just do it. And I've seen it play out so many times. It just seemed like not a recipe that I wanted to cook. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I've already done like 3 career breaks. I've grown from each one. If I've had to go back to work, I ended up going to a higher paying job because of the stuff I did on my career break. Like my first career break, I started a business called Chowdy. It was like an early meal delivery company. Ran that for 2 years, learned a ton, got a job that was way better than the job I had before. Left that job too, traveled, did like a road life series on YouTube, learned to shoot, learned to edit, learned to speak on camera. Came back, got a senior, higher paying tech job, saved a little bit more money. Now I'm doing it again, getting even better. My filming's only gotten better. My editing, I am more comfortable speaking on camera than I ever have been before in my life. So even people that would say you're going to be set back, there's always a chance that you can just get a better thing right after. And that's what's happened for me each time. Were there parts that sucked? Yeah. And I've had to start over like financially a few times. But if I didn't do those things and I just stayed in the job, my whole life would be spent as like a crusty, aging person that always thought like I could have done it. Like, yeah, I could have done the business. I could have done YouTube. I could have traveled. Yeah, but got this gig. And then the twist is they get rid of you at the gig anyway. They throw your ass out. Like companies I've worked for, we've had entire teams be laid off. None of it means anything. It's not stable. Again, we're just relying on someone else to like support us financially, like a sugar daddy. Like when we go to a company, we go, please, like, can I have the opportunity to do labor for you? And they go, I don't know. Like they don't even see it as a transaction, which it is. If you look at work the appropriate way, we're not like family members joining a corporate family. We are like mercenaries going in to do a job to solve a problem for, a warlord back in the day. Like, yeah, you need this app designed. I can do that. And that's the way to look at it. And then once that's done, I'm out. Like, I'm not attached to that. That's not going to be my whole life. I just did that to, build up my own little war chest so that I can go on and try stuff. And if my stuff doesn't work, I can go back, do a little bit of labor, try again. I think most people don't want to do that. They're scared, and I understand. Like, they want certainty. Everyone just wants security. And this isn't for everyone. So I guess if you clicked on this and you got this far, like, you're at least thinking about it. You at least know that something doesn't feel right in your situation, and you're thinking of doing something else at some point. If you are, just let you know, it's okay. Plenty of people have done it. A lot of people that kind of talk shit about taking time off work, they're just too scared to do it. They listened and they were obedient and compliant, and they're seeing other people do it, and they go, hey, I didn't know that was allowed. They're just kind of like, you could always do that? Like, of course, that's going to challenge what they thought was the roadmap their whole life, so they're going to talk shit about it. It's not about that. It's just about following like your own inner voice, trying new things, doing what you think is right for you. People have done it, and they've, I think, come out better on the other side. For the most part. Anything can happen. Even like a big setback, I think, is for a reason. Because honestly, the way we even work, going to a corporation and getting a check every 2 weeks, is not how human beings evolved. Human beings did not grow to simply receive a direct deposit every 2 weeks for clocking into a place. For most of our survival, we had to eat what we kill. We had to go and hunt and find a thing and bring it back and eat it and construct a thing and then grow a thing. And if you're a farmer, you plant, you harvest, you have a yield. It's always been like you put a thing in and eventually you get a thing back. And if you don't put anything in, you don't get anything back. And then once, this system came to be that we were all just born into, you were just given stuff every 2 weeks to stay compliant, to stay just comfortable enough to not leave. But that's not how we evolved. There was no direct deposit thousands of years ago. You just had to go and do shit. If you needed a thing, you had to build it. If you needed something, you can barter and trade. And you got good at doing something. Like if you were the baker in your town, you made amazing bread that people wanted to pay money for. That's how you made a living. Maybe you were a cobbler. Maybe you were a blacksmith. Maybe you were a farmer. Did things that had value, that was in their skill set, that they liked doing. And that was a lot of people's lives. It's not everyone's life, but people were doing it. And at some point, we're all just like, hey, we're just going to go work in an office. And that's the only way to live because I need this paycheck, because I have to buy all this expensive shit with this paycheck. People have to buy a house that's maybe too big for them, or they have to buy 2 cars when they only need 1. And we ended up just falling into this trap. And the other thing I've realized being on this career break is it's easier and more realistic to simply condition myself to need less than to get a higher paying, more stressful, more demanding corporate job. Like the 6-figure tech job that I had, they don't just give you that money for nothing. They're like, we own you. Like, you got to do a lot of shit around the clock for us. But at some point, I'm like, well, I don't need all that money. Like, I wish there was a part-time corporate because I don't need that full salary. I can actually just downsize my life and get by and do the thing I actually want to do. And I'm learning that now. I just downsized from a 1,000 square foot apartment to a 500 square foot apartment where I live with my wife and our 3 pets. And yeah, it's more crammed, but it's like a switch went off in my head. Like, wait a minute, the more stuff I need, the more stressful of a job I need. But if I don't need that much stuff, I don't need that job. And that's what I'm learning now. It's like we're selling our car, selling a lot of stuff we don't use. We are reducing our expenses at home. We're eating out less. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. And I completely understand that. Like, there's no judgment. I have a friend, he just got used to flying business class when he was a consultant. And he's very honest and self-aware now. He's like, I'm never downgrading from business. And people like that, they will work to maintain that lifestyle. But for the people that feel like something is wrong, something's not right, those people, I think, are going to be more willing to downsize in order to do the thing they actually want to do. Because then those high-paying gigs, those stressful corporate gigs, don't have any power over us. They only have power over you when you need them and you need something from them. Whether that's the status of going to a party and telling people like, oh, I work at Meta, I work at this company, or the status of a nice house, or a certain lifestyle, certain trips. Once you don't need that, then it's like even the drive to get that job is diminished. Like I don't even care. Like if I have to do a gig, it can be for a no-name nothing company for a much lower salary with fewer hours and less stress. And I don't care. Nobody at this point even cares. At a certain age, nobody gives a shit about people's status, how much they make. Everyone's just worried about themselves. You go to a party and you meet people that may or may not do well. Most of us don't care. People just want to do what they want to do at a certain point, and they're worried about their own thing. So yeah, I think we just make this out to be scarier in our head than it actually is, because we just get used to what a corporate job provides us with the benefits and the vacation, maybe the free food, whatever else. And some of that we need. Like, yeah, I guess you got to go to a dentist at some point in your life. I get that. And we have phases where we work those kind of jobs. We give away who we are, like the best of ourselves during the day, in order to receive those securities. But at some point, how much comfort do we need? Like how much security? Once you got your dental stuff sorted out and your health is good and you got some money in the bank, why stay in it? And I remember I had a conversation with my mom that kind of made me think of it a little bit differently, where of course parents are going to be worried about your financial security, like that's standard. And my mom was kind of saying like, oh, well, you know, our family and like other families go through so much trouble, like getting to a country like this, you know, escaping a certain situation just for, you know, someone to waste that by like leaving their job and trying to do what they want to do. But I realize I see it the other way around, like flipped upside down. Like, oh, our families struggled so much, and what, I'm going to honor them by rotting in a corporate job the rest of my life. Like we have ancestors that never even had the chance to do YouTube or start a business or whatever. They never even had that option. And we do. And our way of saying thank you to that opportunity is by just rotting away till the end of time while being grumpy. Like that seems like a fucking waste. So I get it's like one of those glass half full, half empty ways of looking at something. It's just crazy to me for someone to escape, for someone's family to escape a situation. And I'm just going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to be, I think, miserable and financially secure my whole life. It's like, why? There's parts of the world right now that even if you have the desire to do your own thing, to grow, like a missile could just bonk you in the head at any moment. Like that's just a reality in different parts of the world right now. Not even some people choose. You're just like, oh, I think I want to get into filmmaking, and just a missile hits you right away. And you just, you know, respawn somewhere else. If we're in a situation where we're not going to be blown up at any given point, I think it's worth it just trying to do our own thing, or at least think about it. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to share my thoughts, my experience, but just wanted to share kind of some ideas around the subject. Maybe it'll help you out if it's something you're thinking about. All right, that's it. I'll see you next time.